What if we told you some of America's loudest, most powerful V8 engines were stuffed into the tiniest cars ever built? From fiberglass-bodied roadsters to stubby 4x4s, these compact beasts defied physics and expectations. Buckle up as I count down the 40 smallest American cars fitted with a V8 engine. Small size, massive roar. Number 30. 1970 Plymouth Duster 340. Wheelbase, 108 inches. Length, 188.4 inches. In 1970, Plymouth struck gold with the introduction of the Duster 340, a lightweight, no-nonsense muscle car that proved small size didn't mean small performance. Built on the compact A-body platform and measuring just 108 inches in wheelbase, the Duster was designed to be a budget-friendly alternative to heavier, more expensive muscle machines. But when fitted with the potent 340 cubic inch small block V8, this little fastback coupe could deliver thrills far beyond its price tag. The 340 engine was a high-compression, high-revving V8 specifically engineered for performance. With a forged steel crankshaft, large valve cylinder heads, and a Carter 4-barrel carburetor, it produced an official rating of 275 horsepower, though real-world figures were likely much higher. In a car weighing just over 3,000 pounds, that kind of output translated into explosive acceleration and sharp throttle response. The Duster 340 was more than just quick, it was balanced. Unlike many muscle cars that relied on massive big block engines and suffered from front-end weight bias, the Duster handled remarkably well thanks to the lighter 340 V8 and tight chassis geometry. This made it a favorite among street racers and drag strip warriors alike, especially since it could run the quarter mile in the low 14-second range with minimal modification. Externally, the Duster 340 stood out with its performance graphics, dual hood scoops, rally wheels, and blackout trim. It was aggressive without being overdone, a sleeper in the truest sense. And with a base price that undercut most V8 muscle cars, it quickly gained a reputation as one of the best performance bargains of the era. The 1970 Plymouth Duster 340 delivered classic muscle car excitement in a smaller, more accessible package. It showed that you didn't need a massive engine or an oversized body to dominate the streets. With the right engineering and the right motor, even a compact coupe could punch far above its weight class and leave a trail of surprise challengers in its wake. Number 29. 1957 AMC Rambler Rebel. Wheelbase, 108 inches. Length, 190.1 inches. In 1957, American Motors Corporation launched a car that many historians now consider to be one of the earliest muscle cars, the Rambler Rebel. At a time when most compact cars were fitted with 6-cylinder engines and catered to economy buyers, the Rebel stood out for its bold engineering and unassuming looks. Built on a wheelbase of just 108 inches, it was small by late 1950s standards, yet AMC had the audacity to shoehorn a large V8 engine under its hood. That engine was AMC's brand new 327 cubic inch V8, which made an impressive 255 horsepower. This wasn't the same 327 that would later become famous in Chevrolet vehicles. It was a unique AMC design, featuring solid lifters, a forged steel crankshaft, and a 4-barrel carburetor. The power-to-weight ratio of the Rebel was outstanding for its time, and with a curb weight of around 3,600 pounds, the car could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 8 seconds. That made it faster than many full-size performance cars of the era and gave it a genuine edge in straight-line performance. Despite its potent engine, the Rambler Rebel didn't scream performance visually. It lacked the scoops, stripes, and wide tires that would later become trademarks of the muscle car era. Instead, it maintained the clean, conservative lines of a typical family sedan, making its performance even more shocking to unsuspecting challengers. AMC's engineers had even experimented with electronic fuel injection on a small batch of Rebels, though that system proved unreliable and never made it to full production. Still, the ambition behind it was telling. AMC was trying to do something radical. The 1957 Rambler Rebel was decades ahead of its time. Compact, powerful, and surprisingly fast, It challenged the notion that big cars had to be the only ones with big power. It was a pioneer of the small V8 formula that would later define American muscle, and it did so with style, restraint, and a whole lot of torque. Number 28. 1953 Cunningham C-3. Wheelbase, 107 inches. Length, 178 inches. In 1953, the Cunningham C-3 emerged as one of the most exclusive and refined American sports cars ever produced. With a wheelbase of just 107 inches, it was compact by grand touring standards, yet it housed a powerhouse under the hood that made it a standout in both performance and pedigree. Built by Briggs Cunningham, a wealthy sportsman and racing enthusiast, the C-3 was the street-legal offspring of his Le Mans competition cars. At the core of the C-3 was a Chrysler Firepower 331 cubic inch Hemi V8. This was the same revolutionary engine that had debuted only 2 years earlier, and had quickly gained a reputation for its hemispherical combustion chambers, which allowed for better airflow and higher power output. In the C-3, the engine was tuned to produce around 220 horsepower, giving the lightweight, handmade coupe excellent performance for its era. It could comfortably cruise at high speeds or be unleashed on winding roads with a level of responsiveness unheard of in most American cars of the time. But the C-3 wasn't just about power. It was a fusion of European elegance and American brute force. The chassis was constructed in the United States, while the bodies were crafted in Italy by Carrozzeria Vignale. This transatlantic collaboration resulted in a car that looked as sophisticated as a Ferrari, but roared like a Detroit muscle machine. Briggs Cunningham's goal was to build a road car that could reflect the engineering and racing spirit of his competition vehicles, and the C-3 accomplished that vision. Only around 30 were ever built, making it one of the rarest entries on this list. The 1953 Cunningham C-3 demonstrated that American V8 power could be matched with world-class styling and craftsmanship. It was small in size, monumental in presence, and decades ahead of its time. Though it remains largely unknown to the general public, to automotive historians and collectors, it stands as a high watermark in the art of blending performance with sophistication. Number 27. 1964 Plymouth Barracuda. Wheelbase, 106 inches. Length, 188.2 inches. In 1964, just weeks before the Ford Mustang made its official debut, Plymouth unveiled a car that could rightfully claim to be America's first pony car, the Barracuda. Built on the compact A-body platform and stretching a modest 106 inches between the axles, the Barracuda was Plymouth's bold attempt to blend sporty styling with compact practicality. Though it bore much of its DNA from the Plymouth Valiant, the Barracuda distinguished itself with a dramatic fastback roofline and a massive wraparound rear window, the largest piece of curved glass used in a production car at the time. But it wasn't just the styling that made the Barracuda stand out. Plymouth offered it with an optional 273 cubic inch LA Series V8, which turned the little fastback into a serious performer. Rated at 180 horsepower in its base 4-barrel configuration, and up to 235 horsepower in the later Commando version, the 273 gave the Barracuda impressive straight-line acceleration in a relatively lightweight package. The engine itself was compact and well-suited for the tight engine bay of the A-body chassis. It featured solid lifters, a forged steel crankshaft, and a 2-plane intake manifold that allowed for excellent breathing at higher RPMs. When paired with a 4-speed manual transmission and dual exhaust, the V8-powered Barracuda could keep up with many larger muscle cars of the era while offering better handling and fuel economy. Inside, the car featured sporty bucket seats and a driver-oriented dash, though its Valiant roots were still evident. But buyers didn't mind. The Barracuda was something different. It was compact, affordable, stylish, and quick. And in an era when full-size cars still dominated the market, that made it a breath of fresh air. The 1964 Plymouth Barracuda may not have had the fanfare of the Mustang, but it laid critical groundwork. As one of the earliest small American cars to offer a factory V8 in such a daring shape, it showed that real performance could come in a leaner, sportier form. It was the beginning of something big, packed into something small. Number 26. 1969 AMC Hurst SC Rambler. Wheelbase 106 inches, length 181 inches. In 1969, American Motors Corporation teamed up with Hurst Performance to create one of the most outrageous compact muscle cars of the era, the SC Rambler. Built on the humble Rambler American platform with a wheelbase of just 106 inches, the SC Rambler was a David among Goliaths, using sheer attitude and raw V8 power to challenge much larger and more expensive muscle cars. At its heart was AMC's 390 cubic inch V8 engine, borrowed from the larger AMX and Javelin models. This engine was no lightweight, producing 315 horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque. It transformed the small-bodied Rambler into a street-legal missile. With a 4-speed manual transmission and 3.54 one-rear gears, the SC Rambler could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds, a blistering pace for a compact car in the late 1960s. What truly set the SC Rambler apart was its visual bravado. Offered in a single year and in limited numbers, it came standard with bold, red, white, and blue graphics, a functional hood scoop, racing mirrors, and Hurst badging. It didn't whisper performance, it shouted it. And yet, underneath all the flash, this was still a practical two-door economy car at heart, albeit one with a sledgehammer under the hood. The 390 V8 was known for its durability and responsiveness. With a high 10.25:1 compression ratio and large ports for excellent airflow, it pulled hard across the rev range. And because the SC Rambler weighed under 3,200 pounds, the power-to-weight ratio gave it an edge against many heavier competitors. The 1969 Hurst SC Rambler was built to make a statement, and it did. It proved that a compact car could still deliver big V8 thrills without compromising on fun, affordability, or presence. For AMC, it was one of their boldest muscle car experiments. And for enthusiasts, it remains a rare and unforgettable example of what happens when you cram maximum horsepower into minimum footprint. Number 25. 1993 Jeep Grand Cherokee ZJ. Wheelbase 105.9 inches, length 176.7 inches. In 1993, Jeep revolutionized the SUV landscape with the debut of the Grand Cherokee, internally coded as the ZJ. While it was primarily marketed as a rugged, family-friendly utility vehicle, the Grand Cherokee also marked a pivotal moment in the evolution of small American vehicles fitted with V8 power. Riding on a short wheelbase of just over 105 inches, the Grand Cherokee packed full-size performance into a mid-size footprint. What made the ZJ truly stand out in its first year was the available 5.2-liter Magnum V8, a modern evolution of Chrysler's venerable LA Series small block. Rated at 220 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, the 318 cubic inch V8 transformed the Grand Cherokee from a trail-friendly soft-roader into a serious street and towing machine. It gave the Jeep impressive low-end grunt and the kind of responsiveness more commonly found in muscle cars than in off-roaders. This engine was mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission and could be paired with Jeep's full-time four-wheel drive system known as QuadraTrack. That meant the Grand Cherokee could accelerate confidently on dry pavement while maintaining composure in slippery or rugged conditions. For drivers who wanted both V8 muscle and go-anywhere ability in a relatively compact package, the Grand Cherokee was virtually unmatched. The unibody construction of the ZJ made it lighter and more refined on-road than its body-on-frame rivals. Yet, thanks to solid axles and Jeep's off-road engineering heritage, it remained exceptionally capable on the trail. The V8 power didn't just offer performance, it provided confidence in hauling, climbing, and overtaking when needed. The 1993 Jeep Grand Cherokee was a trailblazer in more ways than one. It introduced the idea that a compact utility vehicle could offer real V8 muscle without compromising refinement or capability. In doing so, it helped redefine what American V8 performance could look like in the modern era, not just in coupes or sedans, but in everyday vehicles built to do it all. Number 24. 1996 Panoz Roadster AIV. Wheelbase 104.5 inches. Length 159 inches. In 1996, Panoz Automotive delivered one of the most unconventional V8-powered American cars of the decade, the Panoz AIV Roadster. AIV stood for Aluminum Intensive Vehicle, and true to its name, the Panoz Roadster was a featherweight machine built on a bonded aluminum chassis and body that gave it the kind of power-to-weight ratio that most sports cars could only dream of. With a short wheelbase of just 104.5 inches and an overall length of only 159 inches, the Panoz Roadster was about as compact as American V8 performance ever got. Under the hood sat a hand-built 4.6-liter dual overhead cam V8 engine sourced from the Ford Mustang II Cobra, producing 305 horsepower. That engine was mated to a 5-speed manual transmission and sent power to the rear wheels in true sports car fashion. The result was electrifying. Weighing in at just over 2,500 pounds, the Panoz could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, all while producing a thunderous V8 soundtrack. Unlike most of its contemporary performance peers, the Roadster had no power steering, no traction control, no ABS, and no airbags. It was an old-school driver's machine dressed in modern, lightweight materials. The car's appearance was equally bold, with exposed suspension arms, bulging fenders, and a long hood that gave it a vintage hot rod feel. Yet it was built with aerospace-grade precision and handled like a purpose-built track car. It wasn't just small for a V8-powered American car, it was smaller than many 4-cylinder sports cars, yet far more aggressive. The 1996 Panoz Roadster AIV remains a rare and often overlooked chapter in American performance history. It demonstrated that brute force didn't have to come in a big package, and that cutting-edge engineering could coexist with raw, analog driving excitement. It was light, loud, and unfiltered, the very essence of small car V8 madness. Number 23. 1970 Ford Maverick 2-door. Wheelbase 103 inches. Length 179.3 inches. In 1970, Ford introduced the Maverick as a compact alternative to rising imports and its own bloated muscle car lineup. Initially offered with 6-cylinder engines, the Maverick gained serious street credibility when Ford dropped in the 302 cubic inch V8 a year later, transforming this budget-friendly coupe into a pint-sized powerhouse. With a wheelbase of just 103 inches, the Maverick was shorter than most pony cars of the era, yet packed a real V8 punch under its sleek hood. The 302 V8, borrowed from the Mustang, was well known for its flexibility, reliability, and affordability. Producing around 210 horsepower in its early years, this engine gave the Maverick enough grunt to challenge larger cars at stoplights, especially when paired with a lightweight chassis that weighed just over 2,700 pounds. Although it never received the same muscle car marketing hype as the Mustang or Torino, the V8-powered Maverick earned a reputation among street racers and gearheads for its sleeper potential. With minimal trim, simple lines, and a compact footprint, it could be easily modified to run with the big dogs, especially since parts were cheap and interchangeable with other Ford platforms. Ford offered a grabber trim for the Maverick, complete with sportier looks, hood scoops, stripes, and rally wheels, but even the base 2-door coupe with the V8 option could turn heads. The car's small dimensions made it easy to toss around corners, and when equipped with the optional floor-shifted 3-speed automatic or 4-speed manual, it became a true backroad fun machine. The 1970 Maverick with a V8 embodied the philosophy of doing more with less. It was cheap to buy, cheap to fix, and fast enough to surprise unsuspecting challengers. Today, it's a cult classic among those who appreciate the charm of compact American muscle, and it stands as a shining example of how V8 power could thrive in even the most modest of packages. Number 22. 1990 Vector Weight Twin Turbo. Wheelbase 103 inches. Length 172 inches. In 1990, America took a bold step into the exotic car arena with the introduction of the Vector Weight Twin Turbo. This audacious machine wasn't just small in stature, it was wildly aggressive in design and performance, delivering a package that looked like a fighter jet and drove like a missile. With a wheelbase of only 103 inches and a length of just 172 inches, the Vector was one of the shortest supercars ever fitted with a V8 engine. At its core sat a heavily reworked version of the venerable Chevrolet small block, a 6.0-liter V8 with twin turbochargers bolted on. Output figures officially stood at 625 horsepower, but reports claim the engine was capable of pushing close to 1,000 horses in race-tuned form. Mated to a 3-speed automatic transmission taken from an Oldsmobile Toronado and custom modified to handle the absurd torque, the drivetrain was anything but conventional. The Vector's chassis was a mix of aerospace-grade aluminum and carbon fiber, and the body panels were designed using wind tunnel data to reduce drag and increase stability at high speeds. The cockpit was equally outrageous, featuring a digital aircraft-style dashboard and aerospace switchgear, reinforcing the car's identity as a jet on wheels. Despite its compact footprint, the weight had presence like few others, low, wide, and completely unlike anything else on American roads. Only 19 production units were built between 1990 and 1993, making the Vector weight one of the rarest American V8 cars of the 20th century. Its short wheelbase gave it brutal responsiveness, although high-speed stability was occasionally questioned due to its unorthodox layout. Still, the 1990 Vector weight twin-turbo stands as an icon of unrestrained American engineering ambition. It proved that the V8 wasn't just for muscle cars or pickups. It could also live in a compact, radical supercar aimed squarely at Ferrari and Lamborghini. Small in size, enormous in vision, the Vector remains one of the most daring V8 cars ever conceived. Number 21. 1955 Ford Thunderbird. Wheelbase 102 inches, length 175.3 inches. In 1955, Ford launched the Thunderbird as a direct response to the Chevrolet Corvette, but with a unique identity focused more on luxury than outright racing heritage. While the Corvette chased sports car purity, the Thunderbird embraced the emerging personal luxury car category, blending style, comfort, and V8 muscle in a compact package. Riding on a wheelbase of just 102 inches, the Thunderbird was surprisingly small for a V8-powered vehicle, especially for an American two-seater. Under the hood sat a 292 cubic inch Y-block V8, producing 193 horsepower when paired with the standard manual transmission, or 198 when equipped with the Ford O-Matic automatic. The engine wasn't just about power, it delivered a smooth, torquey character that matched the car's easygoing persona. This V8 made the Thunderbird quick off the line, with a 0 to 60 time under 10 seconds. Impressive for a car that prioritized comfort and presence over outright performance. Visually, the Thunderbird turned heads with its long hood, low stance, and porthole-style removable hardtop. Inside, the cockpit was adorned with chrome, padded dash materials, and a full array of gauges, reflecting Ford's intention to create a more refined, V8-powered driving experience. It was smaller than most American cars of the time, yet it delivered full-size performance thanks to its relatively lightweight construction and efficient powertrain. The 1955 Thunderbird marked a turning point in American automotive design. It showed that you didn't need a big body to house a serious V8, and that compact proportions could coexist with elegance, power, and prestige. Though later Thunderbirds would grow in size and become more grand touring in nature, this first-generation model remains the purest choice. A small, stylish cruiser with a big heart. For those seeking compact V8 excellence wrapped in 50s flair, the original Thunderbird set a gold standard. Number 20. 1982 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 3rd Gen. Wheelbase 101 inches, length 187.8 inches. In 1982, Chevrolet ushered in a bold new era of American muscle with the third-generation Camaro, shedding weight and embracing a more aerodynamic, modern shape. The Z28 variant led the charge, boasting a sharply styled wedge body and a notably short wheelbase of just 101 inches, making it one of the smallest V8-powered Camaros ever produced. This downsizing wasn't just cosmetic, it represented a shift in performance philosophy, one that prioritized agility and efficiency without completely sacrificing the spirit of V8 muscle. Initially, the Camaro Z28 came equipped with a 5.0-liter, 305 cubic inch V8, producing 145 horsepower. While that number may seem modest by muscle car standards, it was paired with a lightweight body and could be upgraded to include crossfire injection by 1983, bumping output to 165 horses. Later years would bring more potent versions of the small block V8, including the revered 5.7-liter, 350 cubic inch engine, making the third-gen Z28 a legitimate performer. Thanks to its compact wheelbase and refined suspension geometry, including McPherson struts up front and coil springs in the rear, the Z28 handled far better than its predecessors. Its lower center of gravity and lighter curb weight gave it improved balance and cornering prowess, especially when compared to the more lumbering second-generation models. This made the car appealing not just to straight-line racers, but to driving enthusiasts looking for a more complete performance package. The design was unmistakably 80s, with ground effects, bold graphics, and optional tops that became cultural icons in their own right. Inside, drivers were greeted by a driver-centric cockpit with sporty bucket seats and a gauge cluster that emphasized performance cues. The 1982 Camaro Z28 was a reinvention, smaller, sharper, and smarter. It retained the V8 soul of the Camaro legacy while adapting to a changing automotive landscape. With its compact footprint and evolving V8 powertrain, it proved that small size didn't mean small performance. In fact, it was just the beginning of a new muscle car generation. Number 19. 1979 Ford Mustang, Fox body. Wheelbase, 100.4 inches. Length, 179.1 inches. In 1979, Ford reinvented the Mustang on an all-new platform known as the Fox body, ushering in a new generation of compact American performance. This third-generation Mustang was a dramatic departure from the bloated Mustang II, offering sharper styling, a lighter chassis, and a much shorter wheelbase, just over 100 inches. Its trim proportions and reduced weight helped re-establish the Mustang's reputation as a nimble, accessible muscle car. Initially, the V8 offering for the Fox body Mustang was modest. The 5.0-liter, 302 cubic inch V8 returned with only 140 horsepower, dampened by emissions, regulations, and fuel economy pressures of the late 70s. But it didn't take long for Ford engineers to breathe life back into the platform. By 1982, the famous high-output HO version of the 5.0 debuted, delivering 157 horsepower and climbing steadily throughout the decade. What made the Fox body Mustang exceptional wasn't just its raw numbers, it was the balance of lightweight agility and tunable V8 performance. With a unibody chassis and McPherson strut suspension, it was far more capable in corners than earlier muscle car. The compact wheelbase allowed for quick directional changes, and the responsive throttle made it a favorite among weekend racers and budget drag strip warriors alike. Visually, the 1979 model bore a more European-influenced design with a sloped nose, upright greenhouse, and restrained bodywork. As the decade progressed, styling became more aggressive with the addition of aero elements, spoilers, and distinctive 5-liter badging. Inside, the driver was greeted with analog gauges, optional sports seats, and a no-nonsense layout that catered to enthusiast tastes. The third-generation Mustang proved that a V8 didn't need a giant chassis to shine. With its small footprint and ever-improving 5.0-liter engine, the Fox body became an icon of 80s American performance. It was raw, direct, and endlessly modifiable, earning its place as one of the most beloved compact V8 platforms in history. Number 18. 1965 International Harvester Scout 800. Wheelbase, 100 inches. Length, 150. 5.1 inches. In 1965, the International Harvester Scout 800 emerged as one of America's earliest true sport utility vehicles, long before the SUV became a household staple. Built on a compact utilitarian frame with a wheelbase of exactly 100 inches, the Scout 800 was purpose-built for ruggedness, agility, and off-road prowess. But what made it truly stand out in this countdown was the optional V8 engine introduced in the late 60s, something almost unheard of in a vehicle so short and simple. The available V8 was a 266 cubic inch engine derived from International's truck division, and it gave the lightweight Scout surprising muscle. While horsepower figures hovered around 165, the real story was torque, delivered low in the rev range, ideal for crawling up rocky trails or muscling through deep mud. This engine turned the Scout from a bare-bones utility hauler into a legitimate all-terrain powerhouse, capable of challenging Jeep CJ models while offering a more enclosed and comfortable experience. Unlike most vehicles of its time that emphasized sleek lines or chrome flair, the Scout 800 was unapologetically boxy and functional. But that compact wheelbase and short overall length made it incredibly maneuverable in tight off-road environments. Paired with four-wheel drive, solid axles, and robust construction, the V8-equipped Scout became a cult favorite among adventurers, hunters, and anyone who needed serious capability in a compact package. Inside, the cabin was minimalist but sturdy, often featuring vinyl seats, basic gauges, and little more than the essentials. Yet, for those who valued function over flash, it was the perfect match. Adding V8 power to such a small chassis made every drive feel like a raw, mechanical experience. By the late 1960s, the Scout 800 had proven that size was no limitation to capability. With a short wheelbase, an aggressive V8 under the hood, and off-road DNA baked into its bones, it paved the way for a generation of compact yet powerful SUVs. It remains one of the smallest American V8 off-roaders ever built, and among the toughest. Number 17. 1975 AMC Pacer. Wheelbase, 100 inches. Length, 170, 1.5 inches. In 1975, American Motors Corporation took a bold and unconventional leap with the introduction of the AMC Pacer, a car that defied nearly every design convention of its era. Marketed as the first wide small car, the Pacer featured an unusually short wheelbase of 100 inches combined with a wide, rounded body, making it one of the strangest visual profiles in American automotive history. But what often gets overlooked is that by 1978, AMC offered a V8 option, turning this rolling bubble into an unlikely small platform powerhouse. The V8 available was AMC's own 5.0-liter, 304 cubic inch engine, which gave the heavy for its size Pacer some much-needed muscle. With over 125 horsepower and ample torque, the V8 helped mitigate the effects of the Pacer's bulbous body and nearly 3,000-pound curb weight. It transformed the car from an underpowered commuter into something that could genuinely hustle, particularly in straight-line sprints. Despite its oddball appearance, with asymmetrical doors, acres of curved glass, and a stance more akin to a fishbowl than a sports car, the V8 Pacer had some performance credibility. Its short wheelbase allowed for tight turning radii and surprisingly agile city driving. The V8 gave it enough grunt to handle highway speeds with ease and made it a quirky but viable choice for drivers wanting something truly different. Inside, the Pacer was airy and futuristic, offering wide bench seats and a dashboard that curved toward the driver. AMC had clearly prioritized visibility and comfort, but with the V8 under the hood, it gained a second personality, one that added throaty engine notes and confident acceleration to its list of surprises. The AMC Pacer V8 remains one of the most bizarre entries in American automotive history. But with a short wheelbase and a V8 heart, it earns a legitimate spot in this countdown of the smallest American V8 stock cars. It proved that even a design as eccentric as the Pacer could embrace the power and roar of a true American V8. Number 16. 1987 Cadillac Allanté. Wheelbase, 99.4 inches. Length, 170, 8.7 inches. In 1987, Cadillac introduced the Allanté, a daring experiment in luxury and performance aimed squarely at European rivals like Mercedes-Benz and Jaguar. With a compact wheelbase of just under 100 inches and a sleek two-seat layout, the Allanté stood apart from the massive luxury coupes Cadillac had been known for. But beneath its stylish exterior and Italian-crafted bodywork lay a proper American V8 engine, giving this elegant roadster the kind of power expected from a brand built on muscle and refinement. The early Allanté models were powered by a 4.1-liter Cadillac V8, producing around 170 horsepower. While not earth-shattering by muscle car standards, it was a solid start for a car prioritizing sophistication over brute force. Later versions, including the 4.5-liter and eventually the 4.6-liter Northstar V8 introduced in 1993, significantly upped the performance ante, with horsepower rising to 295. What made the Allanté unique wasn't just the engine, it was the way Cadillac combined international flair with domestic muscle. The Pininfarina-designed bodies were built in Italy, then flown to the United States aboard specially modified Boeing 747s for final assembly in Detroit. This global build process was both costly and logistically complex, but it resulted in one of the most striking and compact V8-powered luxury cars of the era. On the road, the Allanté offered front-wheel drive stability, sharp handling, and a sophisticated ride uncommon in American convertibles of the time. Its short wheelbase made it easy to maneuver, especially in city traffic, and the V8 under the hood provided strong mid-range torque for confident passing power. Drivers found it to be an excellent balance of performance and polish, wrapped in a body that looked more at home on the streets of Milan than Michigan. Though never a volume seller, the Cadillac Allanté carved out a niche as a small, stylish V8 cruiser. Its blend of American power and European design helped redefine Cadillac's image during the late 1980s and early 90s. In terms of small American V8 cars, the Allanté is a rare jewel, equal parts luxury and legacy. Number 15. 1974 Ford Mustang II V8. Wheelbase 96.2 inches. Length 175 inches. In 1974, Ford unveiled the Mustang II, a complete departure from the high-powered muscle car image that had defined the original pony car in the 60s. With gas prices soaring and emissions regulations tightening, the second-generation Mustang was designed to be smaller, lighter, and more fuel-efficient. Built on the subcompact Pinto platform, the Mustang II featured a short 96.2-inch wheelbase and a total length of just 175 inches, making it one of the most compact Mustangs ever made. At launch, only 4- and 6-cylinder engines were available. But Ford quickly recognized that performance still mattered to American buyers, even in this new economic landscape. By 1975, Ford reintroduced a V8 option in the form of the 202-horsepower 5.0-liter, 302 cubic inch Windsor V8, restoring some of the Mustang's street cred. Though detuned for emissions compliance, the 302 still gave the car a healthy dose of torque and performance, especially considering its modest size and weight. The Mustang II V8 wasn't a tire-shredding monster, but it was nimble and well-suited for urban driving. Its short wheelbase made it easy to maneuver in tight spaces, and the V8 provided enough punch to make highway driving lively and engaging. In fact, it became a popular base for customizing and hot rodding, thanks to its small footprint and accessible engine bay. Visually, the Mustang II retained many of the fastback and coupe styling cues that had made the original so iconic, but scaled them down for a more restrained appearance. The V8 variants came with subtle badging, upgraded suspensions, and often sported stripes or custom wheels that gave them a more aggressive personality. While often maligned by purists, the 1974 Mustang II V8 occupies a unique space in American car history. It demonstrated that V8 power could still live on, even during times of crisis, within a compact and budget-conscious form. It may not have been the fastest Mustang ever built, but it was certainly among the smallest to ever pack a true American V8 punch. Number 14. 1984 Chevrolet Corvette C4. Wheelbase 96.2 inches, length 176.5 inches. In 1984, Chevrolet introduced the fourth-generation Corvette, a radical redesign that marked the biggest transformation in the model's history since its debut in the early 50s. With a wheelbase of just 96.2 inches, the new Corvette C4 was noticeably more compact than its predecessor, yet it offered more advanced engineering, sharper handling, and renewed performance focus. Despite its short stature, this fiberglass-bodied coupe was built to dominate both the street and the track. Powering the 1984 Corvette was the all-new Lady 3 V8 engine, a 5.7-liter small block delivering 205 horsepower and 290 horsepower-feet of torque. While this early crossfire injection system had its critics, it still provided strong acceleration and was mated to a unique 4-speed manual transmission with an automatic overdrive called 4+3, which helped the Corvette achieve better fuel economy. The V8 was mounted low in the chassis, contributing to the car's impressively low center of gravity and flat cornering dynamics. The C4 was one of the most technologically advanced American cars of the era. It introduced a digital dashboard, a sleek clamshell hood, and a completely reworked suspension system that utilized forged aluminum components and transverse fiberglass leaf springs. Its lightweight and aerodynamic design, combined with the V8 power, gave the C4 an edge that far exceeded the expectations of a car with such compact dimensions. The Corvette's proportions were deceptive. Though low and wide, it remained relatively short overall, especially by American standards, and retained that hallmark of American performance: the throaty, pushrod V8. It was a pure driver's car, and while the first year's engine was a stepping stone, later iterations of the C4 would unleash significantly more horsepower. Still, the 1984 model set the tone. In a sea of bloated coupes and detuned muscle cars, the Corvette C4 proved that a small, purpose-built American sports car with a V8 heart could deliver world-class performance. Compact in size, but large in legacy, it helped redefine what a modern American V8 machine could look and feel like. Number 13. 1979 AMC Spirit AMX. Wheelbase: 96 inches. Length: 168.5 inches. In 1979, American Motors Corporation breathed new life into its performance heritage by resurrecting the AMX badge on one of its smallest platforms, the AMC Spirit. The Spirit itself was a subcompact liftback derived from the earlier Gremlin and Hornet, but when dressed in AMX trim and stuffed with a V8, it transformed into a pint-sized muscle machine. Riding on a tight 96-inch wheelbase and measuring just 168.5 inches in length, the Spirit AMX was among the smallest V8-equipped American production cars of the era. At the heart of this pocket rocket was AMC's 5.0-liter, 304 cubic inch V8, which produced around 125 horsepower and 225 pound-feet of torque in stock form. Though these numbers might seem modest by earlier muscle car standards, they were potent for a car of this size and weight during the emission-strangled late 70s. The V8 was mated to either a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic transmission, and the combination gave the Spirit AMX strong off-the-line punch and a fun, spirited driving character. Visually, the Spirit AMX stood out thanks to its bold decals, flared fenders, unique front air dam, and alloy wheels borrowed from the Concorde. It also featured upgraded suspension components, front and rear sway bars, and a tighter steering ratio to enhance handling. Despite its short wheelbase, the Spirit AMX was surprisingly composed at speed, offering a well-balanced ride and decent grip for such a compact chassis. While it wasn't built in massive numbers, the 1979 Spirit AMX became a cult favorite among AMC loyalists and muscle car collectors alike. It proved that even in the downsized and regulated landscape of late 70s America, you could still get V8 performance in a truly small package. More importantly, it was a symbol of AMC's defiant spirit, refusing to let performance die, even as larger competitors backed away. In a world of bloated coupes and tame hatchbacks, the Spirit AMX was a firecracker with a short fuse and a deep V8 growl. Number 12. 1970 AMC Gremlin X. Wheelbase: 96 inches. Length: 170.3 inches. In 1970, American Motors Corporation shook up the automotive world, with the introduction of the Gremlin, a car that was bold, boxy, and unapologetically different. Developed as a cost-effective response to the rising popularity of imported subcompacts like the Volkswagen Beetle and Toyota Corolla, the Gremlin was essentially a shortened AMC Hornet with its tail chopped off, giving it one of the oddest silhouettes on the American road. But in typical AMC fashion, they didn't stop at quirky design. They went one step further by shoving a V8 under the hood. The Gremlin X, introduced as the sportier trim, could be equipped with a 5.0-liter, 304 cubic inch AMC V8, turning the stubby little hatchback into a sleeper hot rod. This engine produced up to 210 horsepower in its early high-compression form, which was a lot for a car weighing around 2,800 pounds. With a 96-inch wheelbase and a length just over 170 inches, it had a footprint smaller than most modern compact sedans, yet it packed a power plant worthy of mid-size muscle cars. Performance was impressive, especially in a straight line. The V8 Gremlin X could launch with surprising urgency, and its short wheelbase gave it a tossable character, though handling could be a bit wild at the limit. It was raw and a little unrefined, but undeniably fun. The Gremlin X came with visual flourishes too, including body stripes, styled wheels, and a distinctive X emblem that hinted at its performance potential. Though the Gremlin often finds itself the butt of automotive jokes, its V8 variant remains a curious gem in American muscle history. In a time when the industry was downsizing and experimenting, AMC dared to drop a proper V8 into one of the smallest cars on the market. That courage paid off with a car that may have looked funny, but roared like a beast. The 1970 Gremlin X was proof that attitude and horsepower could come in the most unexpected packages. Number 11. 1974 Bricklin SV-1. Wheelbase, 96 inches. Length, 178 inches. In 1974, the Bricklin SV-1 emerged as one of the strangest and boldest vehicles of its time, part sports car, part safety experiment, and fully American in its ambition. Built in Canada but marketed and sold in the United States, the SV-1, short for Safety Vehicle 1, was the brainchild of Malcolm Bricklin, a man better known for importing Subarus before trying his hand at building a car of his own. The result was a wedge-shaped coupe with dramatic gull-wing doors, a fiberglass body bonded to an acrylic outer skin, and, most importantly, a thumping American V8 under the hood. The early SV-1s were powered by AMC's 5.9-liter 360 cubic inch V8, while later models switched to Ford's 5.8-liter 351 Windsor. Both engines delivered more than adequate performance for a car with a relatively short 96-inch wheelbase and a curb weight just north of 3,500 pounds. The torque-rich V8 gave the Bricklin solid straight-line performance, capable of reaching 60 miles per hour in under 9 seconds, respectable for the mid-70s emissions era. Though designed with safety in mind, the Bricklin's handling was something of a mixed bag. The short wheelbase made it maneuverable, but the weight distribution, wide body, and relatively crude suspension tuning meant it was more of a straight-line bruiser than a nimble corner carver. Still, the V8 rumble and unique design gave it undeniable road presence. Only about 2,800 SV-1s were produced in 1974, with total production across all years reaching just over 2,800 units. Its rarity, combined with its bold styling and V8 power, has made it a collector's curiosity. In the pantheon of small American V8-powered cars, the Bricklin SV-1 stands out not only for its compact dimensions and engine, but also for its audacity. It was a vehicle that promised safety without sacrificing speed, and while it may not have fully delivered on all fronts, it roared loud enough to leave a lasting impression. Number 10. 1968 AMC AMX 390. Wheelbase, 97 inches. Length, 177.2 inches. In 1968, American Motors Corporation stunned the muscle car world with the debut of the AMX, a two-seat performance coupe with the heart of a muscle car and the soul of a sports car. Unlike most competitors of the time, the AMX was purposefully built as a two-seater, making it the only American car besides the Chevrolet Corvette to offer such a layout. Riding on a chopped-down version of the AMC Javelin's platform, the AMX featured a wheelbase of just 97 inches, which gave it a nimble and compact footprint for a V8-powered machine. The top engine choice for the 1968 AMX was AMC's potent 390 cubic inch V8. This power plant delivered 315 horsepower and 425 pound-feet of torque, allowing the AMX to sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 7 seconds. That kind of performance, paired with its short wheelbase and relatively lightweight construction, around 3,100 pounds, made the AMX a legitimate threat at the drag strip and on twisty backroads alike. AMC marketed the AMX as a budget-friendly alternative to more expensive American muscle cars and imported sports cars. It featured a clean, aggressive design with a long hood and fastback roofline, but its compact dimensions set it apart visually. Inside, it was minimalistic but purposeful, with bucket seats, a floor-mounted shifter, and a cockpit tailored for driving enthusiasts. The short wheelbase contributed to its responsiveness, though it also made the ride firm and a bit choppy on rough roads. Only about 6,700 AMX 390s were produced in that first year, making it a rare and coveted find today. It represents a bold move by AMC to challenge the big players with a smaller, more focused V8-powered performance car. The 1968 AMX was not just one of the smallest American cars to carry a big V8, it was also one of the most daring and original muscle cars of its time. It remains a standout in automotive history for combining compact size with uncompromising power. Number 9. 1975 Chevrolet Monza 2+2. Wheelbase, 97 inches. Length, 179.3 inches. In 1975, Chevrolet introduced the Monza 2+2 as part of its effort to respond to the energy crisis with smaller, more efficient cars, yet it still found room to squeeze in a proper V8 engine. The Monza was based on the H-body platform, originally designed to accommodate the Wankel rotary engine that never materialized, which ironically created enough space in the engine bay for a small block V8. That unexpected twist allowed Chevy to shoehorn in a 4.3-liter V8, giving the Monza 2+2 muscle in a body built for economy. Despite being a compact hatchback with a short 97-inch wheelbase, the Monza 2+2 was no slouch. Its sleek fastback design gave it a sporty profile, and the V8 engine, though detuned for emissions compliance, still provided plenty of torque and presence on the road. It wasn't a quarter-mile killer, but it delivered just enough performance to make it more than a commuter car. The V8 option was paired with either a 3-speed automatic or a 4-speed manual, which gave drivers a more engaging experience than most economy cars of the era. Handling was nimble due to the short wheelbase and low curb weight, though the added front-end mass from the V8 did affect balance. Still, compared to its contemporaries, the Monza was agile, affordable, and surprisingly refined for a car in the subcompact segment. The interior was minimalist but comfortable, and the rear seats in the 2+2 layout were better suited for cargo or small passengers, reinforcing the car's sporty intent. The Monza 2+2 may not have had the brute power of earlier muscle cars, but it kept the spirit alive in a smaller, more accessible format. For enthusiasts craving V8 rumble in a more compact, economical package, the Monza delivered exactly that. In the context of shrinking American cars, the 1975 Monza 2+2 was one of the smallest vehicles to offer V8 power from the factory, earning it a rightful place on this list. It proved that even during an era of restrictions and downsizing, performance could still live on. Number 8. 1963 Apollo 3500 GT. Wheelbase, 97 inches. Length, 178 inches. The Apollo 3500 GT, launched in 1963, remains one of the most unique and underrated American V8-powered cars ever produced. Conceived by American engineer Milt Brown and designed with the help of Italian coach builder Intermeccanica, the Apollo was a blend of European Grand Touring flair and American muscle, all wrapped in a compact package. Its wheelbase measured only 97 inches, making it one of the shortest V8-equipped production cars to come out of the United States. Under the hood sat a Buick Source 3.5-liter aluminum V8, lightweight, efficient, and surprisingly powerful for its size. Originally developed for the Buick Special, this engine was chosen for its low mass and high power-to-weight ratio, perfectly matching the Apollo's grand touring intentions. With approximately 200 horsepower, the 3500 GT could reach 60 miles per hour in under 8 seconds, a remarkable feat for such a diminutive and refined car. Its smooth, torquey delivery also made it ideal for long-distance travel, fulfilling the promise of a true GT. The Apollo's bodywork, hand-built in Italy, gave it the look of a Ferrari or Maserati, with elegant lines, a long hood, and a short deck. But unlike its exotic counterparts, it had the ease of maintenance and reliability of an American drivetrain. The lightweight construction and compact footprint contributed to lively handling, particularly when paired with its precise suspension setup. Though intended for performance, the Apollo also featured a well-finished interior with rich upholstery, supportive bucket seats, and full instrumentation, blending luxury with speed. Only about 88 units of the 3500 GT were built before financial issues halted production, making it an incredibly rare collector's item today. Still, the Apollo's influence resonates as a testament to what could be achieved by merging American V8 muscle with European style and engineering. Its short wheelbase and aluminum V8 combination made it both agile and quick, proving that small V8-powered American cars could rival Europe's finest in sophistication and speed. The 1963 Apollo 3500 GT is a forgotten jewel in American performance history. Number 7. 1999 Shelby Series 1. Wheelbase, 94.7 inches. Length, 168.9 inches. The Shelby Series 1, introduced in 1999, stands as the only car ever completely designed and engineered by Carroll Shelby from the ground up. Unlike the legendary Cobras of the 1960s, which were built on British AC chassis and retrofitted with Ford V8s, the Series 1 was an all-American effort, modern, lightweight, and uncompromisingly fast. With a wheelbase of just 94.7 inches, it ranks among the smallest V8-powered American production cars of the late 20th century. At the heart of the Series 1 was a 4.0-liter Oldsmobile Aurora V8 engine, producing around 320 horsepower in its naturally aspirated form. Although some enthusiasts lamented that it wasn't a Ford engine, Shelby chose the Aurora V8 for its compact size, high-revving nature, and compatibility with the car's advanced aluminum chassis. The result was a sports car that could sprint from 0 to 60 in just 4.5 seconds, blisteringly quick for a car that weighed less than 2,800 pounds. A supercharged version was also made available, pushing horsepower close to 400 and transforming the already quick Roadster into a rocket. The Shelby Series 1 was built on a cutting-edge, extruded aluminum honeycomb frame with carbon fiber body panels, which kept the weight extremely low while maintaining rigidity. Handling was razor-sharp, thanks in part to the car's short wheelbase and finely tuned suspension. With its near 50-50 weight distribution and rear transaxle, the Series 1 had track-ready balance and road manners to match. Inside, the cockpit was functional but purposeful, with leather-trimmed seats, basic instrumentation, and minimal distractions, keeping the focus squarely on driving. Though fewer than 300 examples were ultimately produced, the 1999 Shelby Series 1 remains a modern classic. Its short footprint and potent V8 made it a rare mix of innovation, legacy, and performance. As one of the last true analog sports cars bearing Shelby's name, it occupies a unique place in American automotive history. Number 6. 1976 Jeep CJ7. Wheelbase, 93.5 inches. Length, 148 inches. The 1976 Jeep CJ7 marked a pivotal evolution in the iconic Jeep lineage, offering more stability and refinement than its predecessors without compromising the rugged charm that made the CJ a legend. With a wheelbase of just 93.5 inches, 10 inches longer than the earlier CJ5, the CJ7 still retained its compact stature, earning it a place among the smallest American vehicles ever factory-equipped with a V8 engine. One of the most significant upgrades in the CJ7 was the availability of AMC's 304 cubic inch V8. This engine, with its torquey low-end power and proven durability, transformed the Jeep from a utilitarian trail vehicle into a surprisingly capable off-road bruiser with real highway muscle. Rated at roughly 150 horsepower and over 240 pound-feet of torque, the 304 V8 gave the light CJ7 a power-to-weight ratio that few trucks of its era could match. Whether crawling over boulders or cruising down the highway, the V8 CJ7 delivered versatility in a bite-sized package. The CJ7 also introduced improvements like an optional automatic transmission, a first for the CJ Series, and a revised chassis that could better accommodate modern creature comforts without compromising off-road capability. Still, it remained minimalist in design, with removable doors, a fold-down windshield, and optional soft or hard tops. Inside, it was Spartan but functional, just as a Jeep should be. The short wheelbase allowed for incredible maneuverability on tight trails, while retaining enough length to handle the V8's torque without becoming unwieldy. Production of the CJ7 continued until 1986, but the V8-powered variants from the late 1970s remained the most desirable. Their combination of raw simplicity, compact dimensions, and AMC V8 grunt made them true dual-purpose machines, equally at home in the woods or parked at a gas station drawing envious stares. The 1976 Jeep CJ7 is a reminder that big power doesn't need a big package. With its short wheelbase and V8 punch, it proved that off-road fun could come in small, trail-rated doses. Number 5. 1966 Ford Bronco, Gen 1. Wheelbase, 92 inches, length, 150, 2.1 inches. The first-generation Ford Bronco, launched in 1966, was Ford's bold response to the growing popularity of compact four-wheel drive vehicles like the Jeep, CJ, and International Scout. With a wheelbase measuring just 92 inches, the original Bronco was designed to be small, maneuverable, and capable, ideal for both rugged trails and urban streets. Despite its compact size, Ford managed to squeeze in serious performance by offering a V8 engine, making the Bronco a pioneer in the emerging SUV category. Under the hood, the Bronco offered an optional 289 cubic inch V8 engine borrowed from the Mustang and Fairlane. This small block V8 produced 200 horsepower, giving the light utility vehicle enough thrust to surprise many drivers who expected sluggish performance from a stubby off-roader. Paired with the 3-speed manual transmission and part-time four-wheel drive, the V8 Bronco offered not just rugged capability but also spirited road performance. The engine choice turned what could have been a basic backwoods machine into a well-rounded performer. The Bronco's short wheelbase was a critical design feature that enhanced its ability to navigate tight trails, steep inclines, and narrow switchback. With a high ground clearance and simple leaf spring suspension, it provided durability and articulation in off-road conditions, while still being compact enough to park in tight spaces. Though interior space was limited, it was sufficient for 2 passengers and cargo, and the minimal overhangs kept the vehicle nimble in difficult terrain. The 1966 Bronco laid the groundwork for generations of SUVs to come. It offered something unique in its time, a small, V8-powered, go-anywhere vehicle that didn't feel like a stripped-down work truck. Over the years, the first-gen V8 Broncos have become cult classics, cherished by collectors and off-road enthusiasts alike. Its combination of a short 92-inch wheelbase and Mustang-derived V8 power made the original Bronco one of the most charismatic and capable compact utility vehicles ever built in America. Number 4. 1962 Shelby AC Cobra Mark I. Wheelbase, 90 inches, length, 150, 1.5 inches. The 1962 Shelby AC Cobra is perhaps one of the most legendary small cars ever fitted with a V8 engine. With a wheelbase of just 90 inches, it combined British lightweight design with raw American horsepower in a way that shook the performance world. Carroll Shelby's vision was simple: take the nimble chassis of the AC Ace and drop in a powerful Ford V8. The result was a brutal yet beautiful machine that changed the trajectory of sports car development in the United States. The earliest Mark I Cobras were powered by a Ford 260 cubic inch V8, but Shelby quickly upgraded it to the more potent 289 cubic inch small block. This engine produced around 271 horsepower in street trim and even more in racing variants, which was an astronomical figure for a car that weighed just over 2,000 pounds. The power-to-weight ratio was phenomenal, enabling the Cobra to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, a number that put most European exotics to shame. More importantly, this performance came from a car no longer than a compact sedan and riding on one of the shortest wheelbases of any American V8-equipped vehicle. Its short wheelbase made it a handful on the track, demanding precise input from skilled drivers. But when properly harnessed, the Cobra dominated road courses and drag strips alike. It was light, loud, and incredibly fast, and it marked America's first true entry into the world of competitive European-style GT racing. Though it was built in limited numbers, the Cobra's influence was enormous. By 1964, the Cobra had evolved into the even more powerful 427 version, but the original Make 1, with its 90-inch wheelbase and 289 V8, remains a fan favorite. It's a reminder that you don't need size to make a big impact. The Shelby AC Cobra proved that with the right engineering and the right engine, even the smallest car could become a giant on the world stage. Number 3. 1964 Dodge A100 Pickup Van. Wheelbase 90 inches, length 170 inches. The Dodge A100, introduced in 1964, was one of the quirkiest and most compact vehicles ever offered with a V8 engine by an American manufacturer. With a stubby 90-inch wheelbase and a forward control cab-over engine layout, the A100 was available as both a compact pickup and a panel van. Designed primarily for urban utility, delivery, and light hauling, it unexpectedly became a canvas for Dodge to flex its performance muscles, literally. The A100 was originally offered with smaller inline-six engines, but by the mid-60s, Dodge recognized the demand for more power. That's when the 273 cubic inch LA Series small block V8 became an option. Despite the A100's modest size and purpose-driven design, this V8 gave it some real teeth, especially in the pickup variant. With up to 180 horsepower and gobs of torque on tap, the lightweight platform turned into an unlikely muscle hauler. Fitting the engine in a cab-over design required creative engineering. The engine sat between the front seats in a doghouse-style enclosure, essentially placing the driver and passenger beside a rumbling V8 power plant. This added to the raw, visceral feel of driving an A100 V8. There was nothing refined or subtle about it. Its short wheelbase made it agile in tight spaces, but also prone to bouncing over rough roads or spinning the rear tires under load. Despite these quirks, the V8-powered A100 became popular among hot rodders and custom builders. Its light body, mid-mounted V8, and rear-wheel drive layout made it a natural choice for drag racers and street machine fans looking to do something different. Some even transplanted larger engines like the 318 or 340 cubic inch V8s into these little haulers, pushing the performance envelope even further. The Dodge A100 remains one of the smallest American vehicles to ever house a V8, and certainly one of the most unusual. With its 90-inch wheelbase and cab-forward stance, it's proof that performance doesn't always come in a sleek, low-slung package. It sometimes arrives in a boxy van with a V8 growl under the front seat. Number 2. 1964 Griffith Series 200. Wheelbase 85.5 inches. Length 138 inches. The 1964 Griffith Series 200 is one of the most extreme examples of American V8 power shoehorned into a featherweight chassis. Built in the United States using the British TVR Grantura as its foundation, the Griffith Series 200 featured a dramatically short wheelbase of just 85.5 inches. That made it not only one of the shortest production V8 cars in America, but also one of the most volatile and exciting to drive. Under its small fiberglass hood lay a Ford-sourced 289 cubic inch V8, yes, the same high-revving small block that powered early Mustangs and Shelby Cobras. In a car weighing barely over 1,600 pounds, the 289 V8 turned the Griffith into a cannonball on wheels. It produced more than 270 horsepower in stock trim, though performance variants could exceed that significantly. This meant the car could rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds, supercar performance by mid-1960s standards. But such power and such a tiny package came at a cost. The ultra-short wheelbase made the Griffith Series 200 notoriously twitchy at the limit. Handling required absolute precision and a brave driver, as the car could swap ends quickly if pushed too hard. Still, for enthusiasts who could tame it, the Griffith delivered an intoxicating blend of raw speed and unfiltered mechanical engagement. Only about 260 examples were produced before production ceased in 1966, making the Series 200 exceptionally rare today. Despite its short production run, the car left a lasting impression and became a cult classic among collectors who appreciated its audacity and minimalist design. With its minuscule 85.5-inch wheelbase, extremely lightweight, and booming V8 heart, the 1964 Griffith Series 200 remains one of the smallest, fastest, and most unruly V8 cars America ever birthed. It was a muscle car in sports car clothing, a true transatlantic Frankenstein, and a marvel of brute force performance engineering. Number 1. 1955 Jeep CJ5 Willys-Jeep. Wheelbase 81 inches. Length 135.9 inches. The 1955 Jeep CJ5, derived directly from the World War II military Jeep, stands as the smallest American production vehicle ever factory-fitted with a V8 engine. With a wheelbase measuring just 81 inches, it was shorter than most modern motorcycles and smaller than nearly any other V8-powered car or truck ever produced for public roads. While it began life with modest inline 4s and 6s, it wasn't long before AMC's muscular V8s found their way into this compact, rugged 4x4. The most notable of these V8s was the AMC 304 cubic inch engine, introduced to the CJ5 lineup in the early 1970s. This engine brought a dramatic leap in power over the original Go Devil 4-cylinder, delivering more than 150 horsepower in a vehicle that weighed just over 2,500 pounds. The torque from the V8 transformed the CJ5 from a humble farm and utility vehicle into a genuinely quick and formidable off-road machine. The combination of such a short wheelbase and V8 power made the CJ5 both exhilarating and hazardous. It could climb steep trails and scramble over rocks with ease, but high-speed handling on pavement became more challenging due to the short wheelbase and high center of gravity. Still, for off-roaders and adventurers, the CJ5 with a V8 became a legend. Its compact dimensions made it ideal for navigating tight trails, and the V8 engine gave it enough grunt to tow, climb, or power through just about anything. Enthusiasts prized it for its raw mechanical nature. No frills, no computers, just a short, tough chassis and a thumping V8 engine under the hood. Though production continued until 1983, the CJ5's roots remained in that simple 1955 design. And, with the option of factory V8 power, it holds a unique place in automotive history as the smallest American V8 production vehicle ever built. It's a pint-sized bruiser, a machine that proved big things really can come in small packages.